So part one of this episode was I have to admit I haven't drank for a year. In fact, I did drink about a month ago, lightly. But because I haven't drank for a year, I'm not the same drinker that I used to be. And I've been drowning my misery in painting, DIY projects, and trying not to think about the frustrating Brooklyn Nets. Me and my partner Sam are about to talk about it. It's the front office, everybody. Let's make it happen. Sam, I'm feeling a lot of emotions. I'm not happy, but then the next minute I am happy. But then I'll read another quote, another player is being added to the team, and I'm wondering to myself, like, how were we so happy last year around this time? How much shit was we talking the moment we heard Kyrie and KD was coming to Brooklyn? And I'm sorry, I know I'm the only one. I know everyone else is taking doses of heroin. But as doses of heroin from the thought of, in the future, someday, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are going to play for them. I'm looking at this bubble team and I can't get past the hate that I have for the bubble team right now. So I figure we'll do a show, me and you. You will tell me, we'll basically go through the list of the players that's going into this Space Mountain or whatever it is, Disney World. And you'll tell me why this is okay. And the thing you can't use is the dope that all Nets fans are currently on, which is, well, we're gonna have Kyrie and KD next year. It's shitty right now, and I want to talk about that. All right, you ready, partner?
I'm very ready.
How are you feeling about give me your overall feeling on what's been happening the last few weeks?
In terms of their rosters, I mean, I would say, I would give, for my grade for Marks in terms of how he filled up the last 4 or 5 slots, I think I'd probably give him somewhere between a B- and a B. So that's how I view it. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing that wowed me. But I also think that he was dealing with the scraps of scraps, because a lot of these people who dropped out came in pretty late, and so a lot of guys had already gotten taken. But then at the same time, I'm intrigued by a couple of the guys that they're bringing in. So we'll see.
Okay, let's do this systematically. Let's just go through one dude after another dude. All right.
Let's do it.
All right. The first dude I'm gonna bring up. I'm gonna bring him up first because Spencer did when he's not gonna be there. So the Nets starting point guard is Sam.
I mean, it kind of. I mean, it depends. It obviously.
It just hit you.
I mean,
just by the way you responded. Listen to the playback of this after. It just hit you, didn't it?
I mean, look, it could be Chioza, it could be Tyler Johnson. I mean, we'll see.
Chris Chioza is leading the Nets into the playoffs. My Jesus. Okay. I like Chioza.
So do I.
He's a scrappy little player. He's a good guy. You tell me what you like about Chioza.
So he does a couple of things that I think are very important for a guy who's trying to make a roster and also trying to show his footprint, which is that I think he's pretty fearless.
Mm-hmm.
I think he penetrates a lot, which I think in the modern NBA is very, very important. And most of all, I think he's not afraid when he's feeling himself to keep pushing and to keep penetrating. And he honestly has some like highlightish type plays where he crosses people over. I mean, look, his percentages also for this year have been like crazy. I mean, he's been playing just like honestly like great basketball. I mean, like in a lot of these games, I found him to be more effective than Dinwiddie was. But I mean, look, the thing he has going against him is that he's small, and like I haven't probably seen enough to make a great judgment of him as a passer or as a defender, honestly. But in terms of like having him, I like the spot. I think that has been one of Marx's most impressive moves this year, if not the most impressive move.
So, I think Chios is 5'7". I don't know where he lists that, but I'm just giving him. His head is very large, so maybe his head gives him another couple inches. But, yeah. And I mean that with all sincerity. I'm not even making a joke. He is not an adequate NBA player, I don't think.
Interesting.
I think people mistake when a guy comes from the G League, does well, and shows out. This is a good player. This is a gutty player. I think he's good enough to be a third string on the fringe, but I think guys like, so who we think we're going to see first? Toronto? Probably not. We'll probably see the Bucks. We're going to lose a lot of these 8 games, so we might fall behind Orlando. And Eric Gordon is going to eat Chris Chiozza alive. Forget about what Giannis is going to do to us with no size in the front court. Chris Chiozza, I just don't see him being able to play 36 minutes in a playoff game, and it leads me back to something I was tweeting at the beginning of the season, Sam. I basically was saying signing Theo Pinson and giving him a roster spot was one of the most irresponsible things that Sean Marks did.
Yeah,
I understand.
Look, he made. This kind of will relate to part one, where we kind of talked about the push pull that Marks has had in terms of trying to satisfy this new
regime
duo of KD and Kyrie roster spots, while at the same time trying to keep what he had going. And Pinson is interesting because Pinson is like kind of, to me, has been like the outlier guy with the Nets, because he's never shown anything when he's gotten really any minutes. Like he's not particularly impressive. He seems like he's like a destined to play in Europe type guy.
Yeah, and the reason why I wrote him off is not because he doesn't work hard. It's not because he's not a good guy. It's not because he's not, he doesn't have the physicality for it. He's a big guard that does not finish shots.
Yep.
He doesn't hit it from the outside consistently. He looks like, when you watch him in the G League, he's excellent. I thought they were going to win the championship last year, but in the championship game, he showed you why he wasn't going to be an NBA point guard. Now, people know I love Musa, and they would say, "Oh, Yves, why do you love Musa and you don't like Pinson? And why was Pinson irresponsible to keep and not Musa?" Well, I will tell you, Pinson is 24 years old. I think he might even be 25 now, but Pinson is older than D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get his upside. He's probably hit his ceiling already. And I think they kept him because he danced on the court and he was good for the locker room. And I think they gave him a roster spot because of it, which is insane, because the one thing we know about Kyrie Irving, besides the fact that he's the best ball handler in the NBA right now, besides the fact that he's a remarkable offensive player, but we know he's brittle. We've seen 8 years of Kyrie Irving to know that he will get injured. He will break every single section of his body. Like, you know how some players like Darren Williams, at the end of his career, it was the nagging ankle, that the bone spurs, and
Yep.
you know, not taking care of himself early on led to him deteriorating as quickly as he did. Now, Kyrie is a different kind of injured. He's let me think of all the injuries this year. He's injured his face.
Yep.
He's injured his back.
Yep.
So now the whole thing with the shoulder impingement that had 3 different diagnoses before having surgery, and you know he has a history of a knee. And I can't remember what happened to him in college, but I think that was a foot or a toe.
Yeah, or if you're out or an ankle, so it's something with
It wasn't his knee yet.
No.
So, if I'm the general manager of a team, and I'm not Sean Marks, but I think certain things are common sense, and the reason why I'm bringing all of this up and putting it all in the lap of Chris Chiozza, who is now the Nets starter, I believe. It is irresponsible to put a team together in this way, where you have a roster spot for feel-good players. You're supposed to have an experimental spot that's supposed to be the thing that you break glass in case of emergency.
Well, he's gone now. No.
Who's gone?
Pinson.
Oh yeah, he's gone now because
you're just saying like he spent way too much time on the roster this entire time.
Exactly. There were weaknesses that Marks could have filled that I really like. Out of all of the years he's been here, there's been things that I didn't like. I think he has a blind spot for power forward. That is whatever. But he's always patched the team, and the Long Island Nets have always steadily gotten better since they started. And they played for a championship last year of the G League. This year, they look horrible. This year, and I don't think it's because the coach went to Australia. I just think Sean Marks basically got Kevin Durant, got Kyrie Irving, and was like, who you guys want on the team? DeAndre Jordan, you got it. I got Torian Prince in the trade. That's your boy KD? You like him? Bet. Put him on the team. Kyrie, you look up to Garrett Temple? Psh, Garrett Temple's on the team. I look at the reason why Chris Chiozza is our starting point guard, and it's because the need to find another Spencer Dinwiddie, to find another player, all that shit went out the window. All that we have 500 scouts all throughout the world. We know we're looking under every rock for talent. All that went out through the window. Was it this year that they drafted Hand?
Yeah.
Hand didn't even look good in the G League. Like,
nah,
he just looked physically.
Well, the thing that concerned me the most. This is a little side tangent. The thing that we're maybe the most nervous about the Jalen Hands pick was that there was a rumor that when UCLA played in China last year, Joe Tsai met him and really liked him. So then there was this I think there was this is like the underworld of the Nets. I think people were in the deep Twitter spheres were wondering, is Tsai going to be one of these owners that puts his hand in the mix? But I think I didn't really see anything besides that. That was just the one thing I had heard that's like totally conspiracy theory net stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I pray that's not true.
Yeah, that would be bad. That I would not be happy with. But
I mean, now that's the owner playing with his new toy. It's the superstars picking their teammates. It's all the Knicks type shit.
Yep.
And I've heard so much this week from the kind people on Twitter, the kind and understanding people on Twitter, that
Very
I
con.
should go back to being a Knicks fan. Let me tell you something.